This is really how we live.
What's going on, guys? Taters from TeamSlopyTaters here with Tyler. Why don't you say what's up?
What's up, guys? Tyler here.
And we're here with another installment of our Co-op Perfection series. And this series is where we sit and we work on our DDT Gishki deck together. And we're trying to make this deck as good as it can possibly be and make it as competitive for this format, because we're both trying to play this deck for the format.
Yep, it's really true, and it's an awesome deck. We made a few changes with it, so we're just going to go through them real quick with you guys, and we'll try not to make this video quite as long as our last one. So we'll start with the first one. We added in Gustkraken. We took it out initially because August and Tetra Ogre are kind of what make the deck's resources function, and Gustkraken seemed a little weird. But in playtesting, I kind of figured out that doing Gustkraken maybe turn 2 or 3 is actually really beneficial, especially when your opponent only has like 2 to 3 cards left in his hand. And it can like really just change completely the duel, because not only do you get a plus of field presence, they get a minus from the hand, and you get to get hand knowledge what they have. So yeah, using it first turn is kind of but definitely using it the second and third turn gets a lot better. You want to tell them about the other changes?
Yeah, we took out 2 dualities and a 1 day of peace. We took out the 1 day of peace for the Gustkraken, and we removed the 2 dualities for 2 Tragodia. Mostly the reasoning for Tragodia is it's just too crazily insane. Like, you can just copy a level 6, 4, 2, whatever you need from your grave to make a play off of it. It also helps with it helps for you to not get OTK'd as hardcore sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 1 day of peace we had in there. We had it in there at 3, but it just seemed like it made the deck run slower than it should have, and it gave your opponent pluses without you needing to.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think 2 is like a lot better, because now it's almost like a power card, and you kind of hold it in your hand.
Yeah. And as we talked about in the last installment of the series, is that this deck kind of holds out until it explodes. You can play turn for turn moves, but once you get that explosion out, your opponent really can't come back from it. And 1 day of peace is kind of used for that turn before the explosion, when you're just setting up for it. So you can set up, not get OTK'd, and then push through shit in next turn. And then Trag also helps really good with that, because you're conserving cards and adding so many cards to your hand. Trag is always going to be live, and he's always going to be very, very huge.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like, too, with like salvage and stuff, you always seem to have a decent hand. So Trag is like, in my playtesting, has always been like at least 1,800 or bigger, sometimes 3,000 or 2,400. And I think 1 day of peace too, like, it obviously there's like a 1-turn vulnerability for the deck, and so if you get that 1 day of peace, you can just hold on to it until you feel like you're going to explode next turn, but you're afraid of your opponent exploding. Use it, and you're good to go. And yeah, it's really awesome. Yeah.
I think that's one thing we really want to hit home about that, is that 1 day of peace is more or less a power card in this deck. You need to use it at the right times, because if you use it willy-nilly, that one card your opponent's going to get for free is going to win them the duel.
Exactly. Because a 1 day piece essentially is a 1-for-1 and for you, but a +1 for your opponent. The big thing is that you don't take any damage, so you really got to hold off onto it until that critical moment, and then it just comes invaluable, to be honest. So the next card is we added 1 more salvage, just for the fact that you like sending going into a shadow, a vision, and then a salvage, and then discarding them both and salvaging again. It's just dumb. Like, it's so stupid, the amount of pluses you get with it. And 1 was good, but I think 2 adds more of the consistency. Not even like getting 2 in one duel, but just getting a 1 in a duel. And I think that's like really awesome, especially late game when you're starting. You've used most of your shadows or used most of your visions or whatever. Then you just salvage, get them all back, and do it again. And so yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, I think one thing I wanted to touch on really quick is Plague Spreader. I want to touch on Plague Spreader really quickly because a lot of people throw this card around way too much, and this card is a toolbox card in this deck. This card can make or break you in a duel because knowing when to go into Gachi and knowing when to go into Synchro is really kind of iffy in this deck. Gachi will put your Plague Spreader back into the grave, so whenever you can go into Gachi with Plague Spreader, just go for it, because Gachi's always a good card.
Exactly, and it stalls you, so like you top decking for that card, if you can stall your opponent for one more turn, it pretty much negates that, and then you also have Plague to use again, so he's like he's reusable at that point. And really when the deck is kind of vulnerable, going to Gachi can just be the thing you need to stall that one extra turn. So.
Yeah. So I think to go ahead and just recap what we talked about so far is, 1, the deck's weaknesses are its turns for setup, and 2, Trag and the 1 DF pieces we put in mitigate those weaknesses, so hold them out for those turns where you have to set up.
Yeah, exactly. And then 3, again, yeah, hold on to that 1 DF piece, make sure you use it at the critical point, don't just, I mean, if you just use it and give a +1 to your opponent, it's really going to hurt you in the end, so you really got to be concerned with that. And salvage is awesome. I think that's the best point there.
Pretty much. Just pay attention to what your opponent is doing and adapt to it, because that's what this deck does best, adapting to what your opponent is doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope you guys like it. Is there anything else you want to say before we go out?
Not much that I can think of.
All right, guys. Well, this is xPOTATOESAUCex.
And Taters from TeamSlopyTaters.
Yeah, and we'll be seeing you later. Thanks for watching it, and we'll see you later, YouTube.
Thanks, guys.
Going round in circles, and always ending at the place where I began. I don't know what it is I hope to find, some answers to the questions that are always in my I don't know what it is I hope to find, some answers to the questions that are always on my mind. Always in my mind. I'm going round in circles, and always ending at the place where I began. I don't know what it is I hope to find, some answers to the questions that are always on my mind. answers to the questions that are always on my mind.
Call me maybe. Better yet, call me baby. And we drinking up this vodka. She mistaking it for water. This party just made the news. Guess who just slapped the reporter?